pale ulipo, tunazidi na tunaingia katika awamu yetu na sehemu yetu ya pili ya Political Wednesday, ambapo tunaingiana na guest wetu asubuhi ya leo ili tuweze kuangazia mambo ambayo yanazidi kutrend kuhusiana na masuala ya kisiasa hapa nchini Kenya, na vile the state of the nation, how it is politically, and how we are learning as the government. Keep engaging with us wherever you are at Mamlaka Breakfast. Na vile vile katika ukurasa wetu wa Facebook ni Mamlaka TV. Grace Njeri, Kariuki Nganga, utatupata hapo. Weza kuangusha komenti yako popote pale ulipo na uchangie mada yetu ya siku ya leo kuhusiana na masuala ya kisiasa vile ambao tutakuwa tukijadiliana hapa na mgeni wangu asubuhi ya leo. Vile vile unaweza kuachilia ujumbe wako kuhusiana na jambo lolote ambalo ungeweza ama ungependa sisi kama Mamlaka Breakfast team tuweze kushirikisha ama tuweze kufanya ili kunufaisha na kuboresha awamu hii ya Mamlaka Breakfast kila siku ya asubuhi. Leo ikiwemo ni tarehe 19 ni Aprili mwaka wa 2023, siku ya Jumatano. Jumatano. Now we get into the detail and we get to invite our guest today. Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much, Kariuki, and thanks for having me.
Thank you.
I'm happy to be in this studio. I've not been here.
Thank you.
It looks good.
Thank you so much. Hapa ndo nyumbani sasa. Thank you so much for another reunion and for answering my invitation. Thank you so much. I'm humbled.
No, but any time. I mean, we're leaders in this country. You call us, we discuss issues. I mean, we're trying to do what we can do best to make this place better for us.
Wow. Now, today tuko na Engineer Victor Ngatia ambaye ni mchanganuzi wa masuala ya kisiasa, vile vile ni mwanasiasa ambaye si mgeni haswa katika macho ya wakazi wa Nakuru, na si Nakuru tu, is not so new in the faces of our netizen here in Kenya. Wengi wanajua engineer. Some of watazamaji wetu wamekupata mara ya kwanza.
Kweli.
Wasalimie na waeleze engineer ni nani.
Hamjambo watazamaji. Kama mlivyosikia, my name is Engineer Ngatia. I am a businessman born and bred in Nakuru, a product of this soil. I'm a leader in my own rights. I have interacted with the people of Nakuru. And the challenges we do in this county and the platforms we sit in to discuss the good and the bad of this county and how to correct it is what gives me joy.
Wow.
You know, tukijaribu kufanya mambo tusaidie hapo ambapo tumedanganywa kwa muda mrefu na wanasiasa. Because mimi sijiiti mwanasiasa.
Wewe ni kiongozi.
Mimi ni kiongozi kwa sababu I will call it out whether good or bad. Whether you're on my side
or not. And why is it like, what's the difference what's the difference between a leader and a political and a politician?
Let me start with a politician. A politician is a schemer. It is not about the people. A politician
ni yeye mwenyewe ajinufaishe.
Self-centered is about him. But to become a politician, disguised as a leader, you must cheat the people. Ukweli ni kwamba they have perfected the art. The system has allowed that. Inchi imekubali kwamba hawa ndio viongozi.
Lazima Wanjiko kwanza adanganywe ndio tukue na kiongozi.
And for the longest time Wanjiko wamekubali kwamba huo urongo kwamba mwanasiasa ndio kiongozi ni ukweli. Na amepotea katika ile mambo na kutojua kwamba kwa hasa kiongozi ni nani. So they end up just electing the politicians for the sake of electing, because that is what they've been shown for the longest time, that this is the way to elect somebody to lead you.
Wow. Kuna mambo kadha wa kadha ambao yanazidi kunogoneza katika mambo ya majimbo, the counties.
Yes.
Now, nataka tuangazie swala hili la malipo ya mishahara. Now, around 12 counties today, wakazi wanaweka everything down. They are downing the tools. Hatufanyi kazi tena mpaka tulipwe.
Yes.
There are some counties until now, since December, hawajapata mishahara yao. And yet kuna some other counties including Murang'a, Laikipia, and some I think there's Nyandarua pia wamelipa mishahara ya wafanyikazi wa county. What's the difference between the 12 counties and the rest of the counties yenye wametia jitihada ya kulipa wafanyikazi?
Ningependa kwamba kwanza tujue ni haki kwa mfanyikazi yoyote
kufanya kazi bila mshahara.
Ni haki kwanza kwa mfanyikazi yoyote anywhere, not just in the county,
anywhere,
kupata mshahara wake. Because
it ni right.
It's a right.
It's a sweat and a sweat.
Ametoa jasho yake, ametafuta mbinu yoyote ile kufika kazini for 30 days. Amefanya kazi kuhakikisha wewe unasemekana unafanya kazi. Na amehakikisha kwamba kampuni yako imepata faida ama county imeweza kufanya kutekeleza majukumu yake. So first of all, I pity them. I sympathize with them. Very empathetic of the situation. And I support their call that they need to be paid.
Down the tools.
No, they need to be paid. Number one. Number two, it is within your right to protest. It is within your right to picket. Because umekwazwa. And you have a right to let the people know, or the country know, or the person
in charge
to know. Na hautazuiwa na mtu yeyote. Now, so they are very much in order
to picket, to protest, and to call for the protest.
Thank you. And to demand for the payment.
Now, if they
support,
if they start demanding like kila county unasikia, despite the 12 counties, tuko na around now 35 counties. Those zitakuwa zikienda down on strike. Services ama huduma kwa mwananchi nayo itakuwa namna gani? In the 35 counties.
Unajua ninashukuru sana your way of asking that question, because your worry is not about the employee not being paid. Your worry is about the service that unpaid employee provides. So now, assuming this vehicle needs fuel to move from here to Nairobi, and you get to Naivasha,
and the fuel runs out,
will it get you to Nairobi?
No.
So what is the problem? Is the problem the vehicle?
Is the
owner who did not fuel it?
Is the owner who did not fuel the vehicle?
So ask me that question in connection with the owner of this problem.
Now, getting back to it.
Yes.
Tutasuruhisha aje.
The solution lies in so many mitigations. But we must now fully understand that the problem first. Why are we in this situation? Because many people are wondering, who did 10 years?
True.
And quote unquote, we still had these loans that we had been told that we are paying, that are maturing. We kept on hearing that we are over borrowing. I remember at some point we went to
even we raised the ceiling.
We raised the ceiling to borrow more. But we did not at any one point hear that wafanyikazi wa serikali hawalipu.
Na ni mpaka serikali kuu.
Kweli. Lakini sasa mbona katika hii serikali mpya kuna mambo kama haya? Kuna changamoto. Kweli ni kwamba in as much as I believe there is politics in this, there is politics. Because I believe the government is doing this intentionally kuwaumiza wananchi.
Kwa nini intentionally kumuumiza mwananchi, na in fact yeye ndo amemweka pale kwa serikali?
Aya, sikiza hapa. Kutawala nchi ni kuna njia nyingi za kutawala nchi na kuweza kuendeleza nchi mbele. Lakini kwanza lazima tujue maudhui. What are your main issues and ideas and projects that you want to instill? Ni kweli kwamba serikali hii imeingia katika uongozi in a very difficult time.
True, economically.
The world over is really facing a very tough time. It's eminent that economically we are on a downward trajectory. And if nothing drastic is done, we are actually heading to a collapse. It may be too early to say so, but all signs are out that if nothing tragic is done, if nothing drastic is done,
the Kenyan economy will stand still,
you know, and it's going to be chaotic. Fact, I mean, we're going to see crime rate going up. We're going to see people down with their tools. So
even now and then,
you are worried about 12 counties that are almost now down in their tools simply because they're not being paid, and more will keep on. And we said this earlier. Remember in our previous meeting, we also discussed what we expect in the next 6 months.
Yeah,
to 12 months.
As per now, the government yenye iko ya Kenya Kwanza haijamaliza mwaka.
Yes,
it's not yet a year yet, but those signs of economic hardship ambazo tunaona bado hawajalivive, they are still struggling. Until when?
They have a challenge. And the most unfortunate thing is they came in and cleaned the house.
Walisema kwanza walipata empty coffers.
No, not really coffers. I'm talking about cleaning the house. When you get rid of the system to replace a system with a totally new system, that in itself is a fail.
Explain that.
Okay.
Cleaning a system to instill another new system.
Yes. You cannot clean 100% and install 100%. That drastic change in itself was a challenge and remains a challenge in this government. They came in with a lot of bile, with a lot of anger, with a lot of vengeance, such that in as much as we wish to clean the system of the bad traits that it ran, I think they failed on that.
On that note, that aspect number one, they failed.
Because there are many things. For example, if you come into, you're the new member of parliament in this, that's about example. Let's use, you're the manager here. You're the manager in this organization. And there is a previous manager. This is what we call handover. And this handover is not giving you the red file that I used to run. It is actually taking you through where we've come from, where we are, and where we plan to go. All right? And these are the structures we had put in place. This is how it works. So kindly, when you're implementing whatever ideas you have, remember this area, and this area is dark, this area is open. If you touch this, is very sensitive, it might just collapse. So they didn't give room to that.
They came and swept
everybody. So what we're doing, we are scavenging through. Now, trying to get the right position to ensure things are running. But in the meantime, there is hue and cry across the country.
That's Engineer Victor Ngatia. Now, instilling a new system and sweeping away the old system is a challenge. And it's a challenge the government has been facing until now. Na kuna mambo kadha ambayo imekuwa ikifanyika. Some sectors tumeona wamesweep almost everything. Let's not just come to that. Kwa hiyo sector sitaki kuiguzia sana. But how will they revive the economy?
Reviving the economy takes a lot.
Because wamesema tulipe ushuru na tujitegemee. And the taxes somehow are rising. Tumeona hiyo inapanda. Wametuambia some things zenye zinafaa kuwa zikifanywa, it's like we down this, we stabilize this.
So, I mean, there are many things to be done. To be very honest, the country is in a bad state. First of all, we need to acknowledge Kenya iko katika hali mbaya, mbovu. And Kenyans are crying. Sikudanganyi. Si mara moja, si mara mbili nimepigwa na mtu. While I don't have the money, I still get calls of people wanting me to sort them out. That is a state where we need to acknowledge. Una marafiki wanakupigia
kweli.
Jamaa kawaida he's worth at least minimum anaweza omba ni 5,000. But anakuomba 200. That in itself explains the state of the nation Kenyans are through. When a Kenyan is crying about unga, unga ishuke kutoka 200 from 210
to around 100.
It means that 100 makes a lot of difference. 100. So that is the state we are in. And you remember we are told a big chunk of this country live below $1 a day.
Yeah, that's below 100.
It is 135. This is a person unaambia unga utamuuzia 210. Kwa hivyo leo sitaweza kununua. Lazima nikae njaa leo ndio nilale ya kesho ninunue unga. Nitahitaji sukuma. Kwa hivyo nilale kesho njaa ndio kesho kutwa ninunue
sukuma na unga.
So we have many Kenyans sleeping hungry. So once we acknowledge there is a problem, I am really perturbed that the Kenya Kwanza government has failed to call on Kenyans to really discuss the state of the nation. Because we need to come to a point that we know all Kenyans have solutions. It's not me who has a solution alone. Every Kenyan has a particular solution and a particular direction. We have professionals in this country. We have people of enormous experience and knowledge. But Kenya Kwanza has failed to call them on a table, on a round table and say, guys, let's discuss Kenya. Now, what else Kenya? That is where the solution is. Number one,
we discuss as a...
Yes, that is where the solution will come from. We have a problem simply because we will not acknowledge that there is that problem. So number two, what are the main issues that we need to deal with ourselves in this country? What are the main issues? Number one, every day people are crying of flour.
Now, before you come to that, engineer, let me touch one thing ambayo nimeona imeguzwa sana. Na economically, if you destabilize something, nimeona jamaa anasema ati like, kuna hiyo maandamano ambayo imekuwa ikifanywa na the Azimio ama the opposition, the Azimio or the Azimio, but it may destabilize anything. But before we come to that, keep engaging to us wherever you are via Mamlaka Television on Facebook, vile vile kwa Kariuki Ng'ang'a na vile vile kwa Grace Njeri, na pale kwa Alafa, nambari za Alafa ni hizo ambazo unaona zikipita katika miguu ya kioo cha Mamlaka Television. Ndio tuweze kuzidi na kuzungumza kwa pamoja, na maswali kama haya ambao unasikia swali ambalo limeingia hapa limeulizwa na mmoja kati ya watazamaji wetu. Anauliza hiyo mambo ya unga na stabilizing the economy, tumeona serikali imekuwa ikijaribu sana, but kuna hiyo disability destabilization imeletwa na maandamano. How can you link that up? Destability ya economy with the protest.
Let me remind that is it a lady or a gentleman?
It's a lady.
But you know, we need to understand maandamano. Na tusikimbie kukashifu maandamano ili hali hata tukinyamaza leo wewe mwenyewe utalia peke yako kwa nyumba. Because maandamano ni kutafuta haki. Wengi ya wale ambao wanasema maandamano inavuruga uchumi wanakosea. In the sense that uchumi already ushazoroteka. Tukubaliane kwanza. Tujakuwa na maandamano siku wiki moja na
wiki mbili sasa.
Je, maisha yamekuwa
bado?
Unga umeshuka?
Tuliambiwa utashuka bado.
Bei ya mafuta imeshuka?
Bado. Now,
bei ya stima imeshuka? So, that is number one. Number two, kuna mambo ambayo yamechangia ukosefu wa amani katika hii nchi ambayo yanazidi kutilia mkazo maandamano. Number one, kuna shida na sekta ya uchaguzi, election board, IEBC. Je, tukinyamaza sasa hivi ili wewe uweze kufikiria ulimwengu ya 240, kesho tukienda kufanya uchaguzi
na wale na
hiyo system
ambayo ama system ambayo bado
itakuwa na amani ama bado mambo yatazidi kuwa
mando itachemka tu ilivyo. Lakini kwa sasa pia niulize, the removal of subsidies in petrol ama fuel and unga ingeweza kustabilize economy? Because tuliona wakati serikali ya Kenya Kwanza iliingia, they removed the subsidies.
Baada ya kuambia watu kwamba watashusha unga.
And yet everything inaonekana tu remain too intact like it was.
It does not remain intact. It went up. You see, subsidy is a strategy by the previous government to ensure kwamba wananchi wanaishi katika hali angalau. Not the easiest, angalau
at least,
because mafuta tulikuwa tunapata subsidy. Kwa hivyo bei ya mafuta haiko imefika 170, we were doing 150, 140. So sasa umekuja umesema utashusha bei ya mafuta lakini ukatoa subsidy ukafikisha 180. Umenisaidia vipi? To the common mwananchi hajasaidika kwa sababu yeye ndiye anatumia matatu. Kwa hivyo baada ya kutoa subsidy, transport yangu imetoka kutoka shilingi 70 hadi 100. Kwa hivyo ile 100 yangu 30, because I live under $1 a day, umekula 30 bob. Because now I need to go home. Umekula ya extra 30 bob. So hiyo unanipumbaza kwamba umeshusha bei, lakini hujashusha. Number two, if that is your strategy of making life better for us in the next 3, 4, 5, 1 year or 2 years, why are we not seeing these changes come? Gradually, they need to come. But what is the way to get there gradually? Because I can agree, let's get rid of subsidy. What else are we doing to ensure that we get there? Tutafika kanan lini? Wacha nikupeleke polepole. So, sasa tuna shida ya mahindi. Tuna shida ya maharagwe. Tuna shida ya mchele. Tuna shida ya bei ya mafuta. All these things are adding up and piling up on this man who's already oppressed. Because I'll discuss something called oppression as a strategy to govern. And that is what this government is trying to implement. Oppression as a system of governance. So if this is the sequence, hatuna mahindi, hatuna nini, sijasikia Ministry ya Agriculture ama cabinet imeketi ikasema
this is the way to go.
Kusema kweli, tunahitaji magunia milioni 45 kwa mwaka. I am not certain that the government today knows exactly that. Because if they did, wangekuwa we have a deficit of 30 million bags. What are we doing? We cannot just rely on other countries. Like the other day I heard we were talking about Zambia to produce for us. Are we saying we have no arable land in Kenya?
We have.
We have. Are we saying we don't have adequate rainfall or we don't have adequate water?
We have.
We have. But now, unanipumbaza kwamba umeenda Zambia, uwajenge wale uwape kazi ya kupanda, uwape kazi that population
ya production.
Sisi tule.
Now,
I'm just trying to show you we have a disconnect with strategy and policy on what we need to achieve as a country. And this government is failing again on that front.
Now, on that front, tumeona wamepatiana the subsidy fertilizer.
Yes.
Now, what do we go about this? Because
subsidy fertilizer.
Excuse me. They are trying to increase the production rate.
All I'm trying to put, I like that. You know, naweza kuja hapa nikuulize swali nzuri sana, lakini hiyo swali ni ya kukubomoa. That is what the government is doing. I am not so sure that hata bei ambayo tumepewa ya subsidized fertilizer,
it's the actual.
It is subsidized. I think that is, the price should be cheaper than what we are getting a subsidized fertilizer. If the government is committed to ensuring production goes up, because we are not committed to production. We are not committed to production. Because we want to show that we are, while we are not. Today, if you go to buy that subsidized fertilizer, uliza wananchi, je, unapewa risiti ama hupewi?
Sidhani wanapewa.
So if that is genuine and honest as a government, why don't they want to be accountable? To say that we sold this fertilizer at 3,500.
And not more than that.
Yes. And they say it is subsidized. So you subsidize fertilizer at 3,500. And this fertilizer becomes even more expensive than the seeds that I'm supposed to plant. If fertilizer subsidy is more expensive kuliko
mahindi yenye nafaa kupanda na.
We're not honest.
Now, let's take a look on this. A look on this. Tumepata hiyo subsidy fertilizer, so tunategemea kutakuwa na increase in production.
Tunategemea, that is the right word.
Tunategemea because already tunasema improvise the farmer and tumesaidia huyo mkulima angalau tumempatia mbolea.
Yes.
So we are targeting an increase in production at the end of the year. So inamaanisha tukifika next year, something about concerning the hunger tutakuwa draw out.
No, these are gimmicks. Let me tell you something. Production is not just about fertilizer. There are so many other factors in production that would guarantee us food. Because we cannot say we didn't have fertilizer last year.
We harvested.
Did we have fertilizer?
We had.
So now that we had fertilizer, do we have enough food today?
Not.
So that is not a problem we are addressing. These are gimmicks. And that's what I'm saying. We have started on a wrong footing. And the government is trying to hoodwink us that we are going the right direction. We are not. We must now discuss and say, we need 45 million bags of maize every year. So by the end of this year, we need to get 45 million bags. So that we don't import next year. So out of that, I need to hear that in every acre, we normally harvest an average of 30 to 45 bags. So out of 45 million bags that we need, at least I need to see something like 1 million acres on coverage. Sorry for that. I want to hear that we have 1 million acres in this country. We are producing maize.
Wow.
So that is mapping the country. We are not mapping it. Now we need to say there are areas that the soils are not good for maize production. So how do we qualify a farmer in a particular area to grow maize while the soils are not even known if they can produce maize? And we've gone ahead and given him fertilizer. We should be able to tell people in specific areas that you can grow maize and you cannot grow maize.
Now, Regarding on
to avoid a scenario where we give fertilizer at a lying rate, or at a false rate of subsidized amount, and send the fertilizer to wrong areas that will not produce maize.
Now, regarding to that,
Yes.
There's a question here from Peter regarding to everything concerning the economy.
Yes.
Ameuliza swali nzuri sana. What is the role of the church as much as the economy is concerned? Should the church stand by the people or support the government? Regarding about the economy
I like
situation.
that. First of all, we must appreciate the position of the church in our society.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the church has, in one way or another, lost direction. I say so simply because I believe the church should be in a position to give proper direction on leadership. Because the church is there to ensure that the masses get to enjoy the blessings that are,
The nation has.
that their God, that God has given us. Now, how do we ensure that we get this to our place, to our status? We must be in a position to say, this is right,
This is
wrong. Their role is to instill, is to preach the gospel. Because the gospel brings out that person who will ensure things are done correctly. That gospel will ensure that I bring out honesty, integrity, truthfulness. That will be me. I will not be greedy. I will not go out and steal. Now, this is what the values we expect the church to instill in our people. Now, before I answer the role of the church, silently, I want you to ask yourself, is the church instilling these values in our society?
And more probably to the leaders.
Yes. No, the leaders come from the masses. The leaders are not a special
not a special delegation.
ni hawa tu wananchi wa kawaida wanaoenda kanisa. So if the church is instilling or teaching integrity, honesty, truthfulness,
ile kuaminika, the trustworthiness,
yes, and people are not going to steal, from the coffers, then we shall be able to say that one of us in this church that we have here, called the PCA, the Catholic, the AIC, the ICPCA, the Orthodox Church, the Baptist Church, this church, we have leaders who can lead us, and people who have these values. Then when they go into these offices, the church has no specific mandate to start micromanaging that particular leader.
Oh, yeah.
Because really, they have already offered to the country a good leader.
Wow. That's well.
But when we ask the church where they should be, they should support the government, or they should, that is the wrong position. Because the moment the church fails to be impartial, they've lost it.
If they stand with the government,
they've lost it.
The people will cry.
They've lost it. If they stand with the people,
the government will cry.
Yes, because they're not doing their duty. Because they should call out the government when they're wrong. They should call out the people when they're wrong. Because the church is a state, it is in a position of impartiality. They are not the judge. They are not the people to tell people who are wrong. They are people to ensure
everything is done the right way.
Okay, this is Christ-like. They should manifest godliness. They should manifest God himself.
Now, regarding to that, ameuliza swali nzuri na sasa nataka tuishikanishe ndo tuweze at least kwenda kama tumebadilisha tumechange gear. Ni kuhusiana na jambo ambalo ni wabunge siku ya jana walionekana wakizungumzia kwa kina, na ikasemekana kwamba wanataka kutoa ile sheria ama kuangalia ile sheria ya kiongozi ambaye amekamatwa na mambo ya ufisadi, ukora na nini asitoke kwa ofisi mpaka investigation ziishe, apatikane ako guilty. The law says you are guilty until proven so. Now wanasema the investigation should still continue, whereas Ngatia is still in office, and yet, for instance, Ngatia amepatikana ufisadi.
These people are criminals. Let's call them out. They're criminals. Let me ask you, if today in this organization you are suspected to have squandered a budget, and we take it to court, should we leave you to continue managing that?
No. I should be out, but now
why should you be out? You see, this is the context where people lose it. And when somebody starts to say they want to remain in office, they want to clean. How many times have you heard that the county government offices have banned?
Many.
Which just scare me. What department is banning? Which department is banned?
The finance.
The finance. No, you need to call it as it is. Hakuna department yoko nje inachomekaga ati ile department inatupeleka chakula pale.
Hapana, hizo hazichomeki.
Ile department ya disaster ichomekagi.
Ni finance na tenders.
Where tendering system is involved, where finances are involved, the movement of money, that's where they ban. So inachomeka kwa nini? To clean. So we cannot leave these people in office. And the person who's doing that, whether within or without, is doing that to ensure that there's no evidence to prosecute him. Because I fail to understand as a system, how do you give an institution 1 billion, they squander, and then you tell me
in office.
You cannot locate the money, so we go to the next dispensation of the year. Excuse me. How? It's wrong. It's just we must be able to call these people out. They're criminals. That is a law that I personally wouldn't accept if it is passed in parliament. I'll actually go to court.
Now nasikia hata kulingana na gazeti naona nikana kwamba wabunge walisema they will check that into details.
Let me tell you something. Today, if somebody complains about you about harassment, they have a right to get bonded out.
True.
Okay? Unamshtaki. Lakini akiwa kule anaweza omba aachiliwe. Na koti. But what the court does, it says utakuwa huru. But
pale
you need to be at least 100 meters away from that location. These MPs want to now go around that and say, mimi ni wachilie lakini nikae kwa hiyo ofisi tu. So I can do whatever I'm doing wrong with them. It's not acceptable.
Like you are a culprit and is still in the crime of
that tells you exactly what is ailing this country. Today, a member of parliament will be on the wrong, atakuwa crucified, atakuwa judged, na atakuwa sentenced, and he will still remain in office.
Wow, that's Engineer Victor Ngatia today in the morning as we'll still round up what's trending in the nation and mambo ambayo yanazidi kuchemsha hii nchi kulingana na venye mambo iko. Lakini kwa sasa nataka tuangalau tubadilishe gia kwa sababu ya muda, tuingilie jambo ambalo linazungumziwa kwa kina zaidi kuhusiana na mazungumzo kati ya serikali na mazungumzo kati ya serikali na upinzani. Na hili ni jambo ambalo linaonekana siku ya jana ilichukua mkondo mwingine mpya, na sioni kama huo mkondo utakuwa mzuri kulingana na mimi, as per my own wording and saying. Ni Azimio walisema they will not at any moment take that bipartisan talks unless some of the four mandates zenye wanasukuma ikuwe implemented, ama ikuwe imewekwa on the table. Another thing yenye according to the basis zenye walisema ni kwamba the draft yenye ilikuwa imetengenezwa, they were not involved.
Agreed.
They were not involved. Now,
let me okay, ask the question.
Now, hawakujumuishwa katika hiyo draft. Na according to the government, including ikiongozwa na majority of the parliament, Bwana Kimani Ichung'wah alisema hiyo maneno ilikuwa izungumziwe leo. Yet hawajasikizana.
Well, number one, something is terribly wrong
somewhere
with our governorship. Nikupeleke nyuma kidogo kabla nikuje kuguzia hii mambo ya Azimio. Who is the majority leader in terms of the coalitions that we have that won? We had
Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio.
At what point do you think the majority leader should be decided?
The majority leader, kulingana na venye uchaguzi ulitoka ama kulingana the result of the past election, should come from Azimio side.
Okay.
Because they had the numbers.
Good.
Until what? Until the government did what they did.
That is, I'm giving you, these are red flags. The constitution says the majority leader is decided at the ballots. Because who mrengo utapata this number, na who mrengo utapata
to get the opposition and the government now in the parliament.
If you look at Sabina Chege, she's crying foul while her position in that parliament is in Azimio. But she's now purporting to be in opposition, but now
in the government, siding with the government.
Which is not correct. Her position guarantees the opposition the majority.
True.
How we get the majority within Kenya Kwanza? A big question mark. because the numbers are with IEBC. Even these IEBC that we fold, they have the numbers that Kenya Kwanza is second in parliament. So how they got majority is another question. I'm trying to put to you the reasons as to why Azimio is wary of going the direction these people are trying to push them. Because if you can outrightly refuse that Kenya Kwanza, that Azimio has the majority in parliament, for them to have the majority leader, how else do you want me to trust you to come and sit in the same parliament and discuss pertinent issues that are, you know, directly attached to Wanjiko and to your leadership and to you getting in office? I wouldn't agree. So number one, we have to agree. It cannot be in parliament. And it's self-explanatory.
It should not be in parliament. Sometimes ago, I think it's last week, we heard Bwana Kalonzo wakisema, and also the ex-forces wakisema, the parliament is compromised. Hatutapata suluhu.
I'm just trying to, I've started by majority. It is compromised because over and above that, being in government, President Ruto has ensured that he has bought a number, including Sabina Chege, to move from the side of Azimio to the side of Kenya Kwanza, while she holds that office under Azimio. You get? But she will today stand up bila uoga with hakuna taibu and speak for Kenya Kwanza. That is a stomach ahead of your brain. Because really, the reason that's why you jump ship, if you are honestly and principally moving from Azimio to Kenya Kwanza, first of all, relegate your seat. Because you went there via Azimio. I'm not even supposed to be nominated. Because I no longer agree
I no longer represent the...
Yes. Now go to this other side and tell them now, is it possible for you to get me anything in parliament? Is there any way to get there? But you cannot purport to be in Azimio while you're supporting
Kenya Kwanza.
So that's part of what the government has done. Compromising the parliament. It's not one or two we'll talk about. We've seen Jalango is one of them.
Yeah.
Jalango was in Azimio. But today, where does it stand?
At the government.
Juzi tu amekashifiwa amemeleshwa na Mama Aida. Baadaye walikuwa sita na president wakifanya mbao. Sijui ameenda wapi na president. Is he with Azimio
or the opposition?
You can judge for yourself, whatever he is. Now, these are the people you want us to go in parliament
and sit down and have
ask them to support Azimio opposition. It's a lost game.
Now,
so we cannot go parliament. Number two, there are issues that Azimio want to discuss. And the reason as to why kuna maandamano leo, those issues must be on the table. How do you call for us to discuss issues that are not on the table, that are making us go for maandamano? Tunaenda maandamano kwa sababu ya bei ya unga.
That's one.
Kwa sababu bei ya mafuta.
That's two.
Kwa sababu bei ya stima.
Three.
In short, gharama ya maisha.
Gharama ya maisha.
Mbona unataka tuzungumze katika bunge na haya mambo unataka tuzungumzie? That's number one.
Because Ruto just said whatever is on the table is about the formation of the IEBC commission.
Fine.
Period.
Sasa hiyo sio shida peke yake. Kuna shida economy. We must agree. We are on a downward trend. Tunaenda ku collapse. If nothing is done, tutaenda mbaya sana. It will be bad. Look at the dollar. Tulikuwa 110, 105.
Now it's 130.
Today we are 135. Nani nataka kurudi? Tunaambiwa itarudi. It's giving hope. Things are bad. We must acknowledge. Number two, there's no way you tell me that wewe mwenyewe mambo ya IEBC wewe ndio unafanya. Mimi nifuate tu. Wewe unasema wewe mimi nifuate. Well, I know that is the major problem in this mandate.
Is the key thing in this yenye imefanya tulegea mpaka
sasa. Tunaendelea kufanya mambo. President anasema kwamba mambo itazungumziwa. Lakini are they honest with what we are seeing?
Now, let me ask a question on that. Juzi tu tumesikia the four Venezuelan and the Jose Camargo are in the country, and the government itself imesema hakuna mambo ya kufungua server. The Supreme Court kulingana na the ruling ilisema kufungua server is breaching of copyright. Now, hata server zikifunguliwa for now, and wenye tumesikia kuna zile tetezi za Jose Camargo and the Venezuelan wenye walihusika sana na mambo ambayo ilifanyika ya uchaguzi. Will it be of benefit?
Wacha nikuulize swali. Kama tulizozana mwaka wa 2019 22 kuhusu uchaguzi. Na tukaona kwamba system ambayo sisi tulidhani itakuwa ni kisuluhu haikuleta mambo ambayo tumekuwa tukipigana kwa miaka mingi. Haikuleta suluhu. Je, 2027 hiyo system kama ilivyo itatupa suluhu? Haiwezi. Itarudia ile shida. So kama ni kweli President Ruto alishinda uchaguzi, shida iko wapi kufungua sasa? Hakuna. So kama ni kweli alishinda, shida iko wapi kuangalia kuconfirm kwamba hii system iko sawa, ndio tutakayotumia mwaka gani? Mwaka wa 2027. Shida iko wapi? Now, what about nimemsikia akisema kwamba ana imani na ako double sure kwamba 2027 is in. Je, atatumia hii system ambayo hatujaamini mwaka jana kuingia kwa president? Now, that brings an issue of legitimacy. Is he legitimately the president of the Republic of Kenya? It's a question. It's a question. So how do you legitimize? Now, kwa hiyo tu swala kamati ya IEBC, the restoration of Cherera 4, Azimio wanaisukuma sana pia. Yes. Because wanasema the Cherera 4, that's Irene Masits, Wanderi, Nyagaya, hawakutolewa kisheria na ama kwa mbinu ambazo zinafaa mtu kutolewa kwa ofisi. Should it be still on the table to be talked about because they are contract haiko imeisha? It should not even be on the table. It should be a matter of reinstatement. And why do I agree with Baba on the issue of reinstating this? The Cherera 4. They were there with a mandate. Just tell me, did they execute the mandate or not? They. I mean, their mandate was not just to say yes to Chebukati. No, that's not the mandate. As a commissioner, you're just like a judge. In your position, you have a judgment, and you have to put it in writing, and they did. And they put it in the media. They were not hiding what they were saying, whatever they were saying. They just said, we don't agree. Why should they be crucified for not agreeing? Well, that is the mandate they were given to confirm the position of election. So why were they taken off? Just simply because they disagreed with Chebukati? Unless you want puppets. And this is where the government is taking us. They want to put puppets there as commissioners. So whatever he said is a done deal. It's true, it's wrong, it's wrong. No. And it's wrong, it's wrong. We do not want people who will be told it's right and they say it's wrong. We do not want people who are told it's wrong and they say it's right. If anything is wrong, well, they should all say it's wrong. Because it's wrong. And still, but if I feel it's not wrong, I should have a position in this country to be able to say, you know what, as a commission of IBC, I think this is either right or wrong, but not to say yes to what you say. Why are they victimized? Now, so let as a country, for us to heal, I think that's where we quickly need to get. As a country to heal, we must be able to put these people on the table. Let's address the real issue. We are a country that is very corrupt. And this corruption keeps on changing faces and fighting the people who are not corrupt to show that they are corrupt. Now, kwa hiyo kuunda tena kamati ingine ya IEBC ambayo itakuwa ikishikilia uchaguzi wa mwaka 27 ambapo tunaelekea kwa sasa, na ni jambo ambalo Raila anasisitiza kabisa, lazima we bring everything on the table, the government, the opposition, plus other stakeholders. Yes, we have many stakeholders. Because when these people are discussing, and I said it once on our social media platforms, ni vigumu sana sisi tudhani kwamba tukiwachia Ruto na Uhuru waketi, Ruto na Raila waketi wazungumze, kwamba mambo ambayo watajadilia zaidi ni mambo ya Wakenya. I mean, it's politics. So kuna mambo ambayo yatazungumzwa ambayo hatutaweza kujua sisi, hatujua. Lakini mambo ambayo tunasisitiza tuone yakizungumziwa ni mambo mangapi? Ingawaje mambo ambayo yanasumbua hii nchi sio manne peke yake. Ni mambo mengi. Yes. So we must have first of all a platform that sorts and everybody is happy because angalau tunajua kesho Karaoke akisimama kwa governor hii Nakuru atashinda kwa sababu ameshinda. Lakini sio kwamba wazi. Na sio kwamba atashindwa kwa sababu ameshinda. Kuna kushinda sababu umeshindwa. Yes. Na kuna kushindwa kwa sababu umeshinda. We must get you as a winner because you won.
and it will be a clean and fair
clear.
ground.
So that is why when Baba is saying we want a forensic audit, we're only trying to see
how clean was it,
that the system we are using
is good. It's clean.
So we do not need another 50 billion to get another system. Because if this system is wrong, believe you me, we need to install another system.
And
it's going to cost the taxpayer. So sir, these are things we should all have a round table and discuss and say, this is what is ailing this country. Why don't we just mend it? And I can tell you, if Kenya Kwanza continues to refuse with this idea of opening up the server, it will mess this country big time.
Come 2027
no,
again.
Even before. I mean, I'm not talking of next year. I'm just talking of currently. If we continue this pace, believe you me, Mandamano resumes next week.
Yeah, after Ramadan.
Yes. So once we go into Mandamano, you already have people who are saying that Mandamano inaharibu uchumi. Now, after that, tunawatu wanaenda strike. Madaktari pia wanaenda. Madaktari
especially kwa counties.
So you tell me, ushaenda pale kukuwa na mgomo, ukaona watu wanakufa kwa sababu they're not being attended to.
Yeah, true.
Now, what does that make of the people who are watching over them? Wewe umeleta mgonjwa.
Traumatizing.
Tuombe tu Mungu ataifanyike akufe ukiwa hapo. What does it make you? Traumatized. What do you become after that? Now, it messes the country. Now, it's going to be chaotic because if at the end of the day people cannot make money, people cannot govern their dollar, people cannot make money, we're not in business, believe you me, to be chaos. If I cannot get a job to make sure that I can get food for my stomach, sikudanganyi, kesho niwe napika ngeta.
Itakuwa ngumu. Now, the last thing not to wrap up this thing about the bipartisan talks, including other stakeholders in the talks and the talks outside the parliament. We need a help. Itasaidia to include other stakeholders. Ifanywe nje ya bunge.
Yes.
Hiyo ni matakwa ambao Kenya Azimio waliongea jana. Yes. Now, the three stakeholders, Azimio, opposition, Kenya Kwanza, the government, and other stakeholders.
Yes.
Na tutolewe nje ya bunge. Kutapata suluhu.
Haitakuwa rahisi, lakini itakuwa ni bora kwa sababu watu wataweza kuzungumza. Because as we speak now, there is no engagement.
Iko tu hivyo.
Yeah, because mimi nataka tuzungumzie kwangu. Na wewe unasema tukienda kwako it will be unfair. Tuende pale katikati.
Na Twitter a neutral referee.
Na Twitter neutral referee. I mean, we only trying to ensure that wewe usinikwaze na mimi nisikukwaze. So nikikwambia kuja tuzungumzie kwa ofisi zangu za Azimio utakataa. Utasema tuone na sheria bla bla bla. But let's agree. The government has messed the system. I mean, we have corrupted and we have got over compromised the opposition. We have messed up so many things that we've seen. A lot of decisions that have been made are not good. I mean, how else do we want to correct you? How else do we correct you? Well, you do not want me to correct you. So let's sit, because it is hurting me. Wewe ndio serikali, lakini whatever you're doing inaniumiza mimi kama mwananchi wa kawaida. So kubali tupate mali tuanze kuzungumza.
Tupate kikao.
Katika kuzungumza, tuzungumze shida za hii nchi openly. Because ukinipeleka bunge unaniambia hiyo si atuzungumze leo, tunazungumza hii leo. So wewe unanikalia. Sababu ni kuwa open, I can introduce any agenda that is totally ailing this country. Because corruption has not been discussed anyway.
And it was not part of...
It was not, but only when stakeholders are included can they introduce such a talk. But we know for a fact, nchi yetu inachokikula ni ufisadi.
Now, my last question on that ni kuhusiana na mambo ambayo pia inazungumziwa sana kwa haya maandamano. Maandamano ya kilejea. Shughuli nzima kunakuwa na utatizo mkubwa sana. Siku ya jana niliona magavana kadha wa kadha, ikiwemo gavana wa Mombasa Kiambu, usikubali kamwe na usidhubutu kukubali maandamano ya kuja katika kaunti ya Mombasa. Na kumbuka gavana wa Mombasa ni wa upande wa Azimio.
Wacha nikwambie kitu.
Getting the governors.
For example, unajua hizo ni porojo tu, ni kelele tu. Nasikia kelele ya chura ikatazi ng'ombe pani
kunywa maji.
Kisumu hapa, Bwana Anyang' Nyong'o. Alisema nini? Hatutaki maandamano Kisumu, tuhamishe tupeleke wapi?
Nairobi.
Kulikuwa na maandamano Kisumu ama hakuwa?
Ilipatikana.
Gavana Susan hapa alisema kwamba Nakuru tusiwe na maandamano. Tumekuwa na maandamano au hatujakuwa? Imekuwa. Ingawaje hata kama wamejaribu sana to suppress maandamano, imekuwa. Nairobi kulisemekana kutakuwa na maandamano. This is the last tumesikia DP akisema. Kulikuwa na maandamano ama kuwa?
Ilikuwa.
What I'm trying to say is, it is not upon the leadership or the government to say there will be no maandamano. It is upon the people to say there will be no maandamano. If the people have said there will be maandamano, maandamano itakuwa.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Anaitwa Engineer Victor Ngatia. Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for being here.
Hiyo time lakini nimekimbia sana.
Nimekimbiza sana na bwana Joan. Upande ule mwingine, I think it's a wrong discussion yenye tunafaa. We still have another time and tuangalie the state of the nation.
But thanks for having me anyway.
Thank you so much.
I think we can discuss more when time allows.
Thank you so much, na uzidi kuhutubia watu huko nje na kuwashughulikia vilivyo.
Don't worry. Wakati nikipata, if I get any opportunity, I will always stand up for my people.
Thank you so much. Anaitwa Engineer Victor Ngatia, ndio tumekuwa naye katika awamu ya pili na mazungumzo ya leo ya the state of the nation and how the nation is strolling around, how what's trending politically and what is evolving across the nation. Tunarejea na Grace Njeri hapa ndo tuweze kuinamisha hii show asubuhi ya leo. Thank you so much. My name is Kariki.